We've talked about conics. The next lesson is a little bit about conics. But can we graph them in a calculator? So, couple things I would like to see first. I would like to say, what type of graph is this? What type of conic is it?
It's an ellipse.
Why is it an ellipse?
Because same side and different coefficient.
You got an x squared and a y squared. They have different numbers as coefficients, but they are the same sign. Okay? Could we rearrange and put it in standard form? Can you do that?
That.
You want to do it? Because we need some practice with completing the square, maybe.
Okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, Justin.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Am I gonna take out the 4? Because that doesn't make sense. There, parentheses here.
No.
Just that. Maybe plus, right? Right?
Yes. Are we good? Can you do that? Justin did that pretty quick. That completing the square.
Alright.
Now when you break it apart, do you need to do something with that 4 with the 4y squared?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I need to take the 4 out.
Which is not that hard because there's no other y value.
So then, do I divide that by 4 and get 4 again? Or
What do we want ellipses to have on the right side?
I don't know. I can't remember. I do know you're supposed to get to this point right here, though. I know my origin. Not origin, but like
Where it's centered at. So where's it centered at?
negative
Wait,
1.
no, right that over here. Center. At what? Oh, don't. No, I thought you were right. Hit the undo button.
What's that? Negative 1.
Yep.
Yay!
So the center is at -1, 0.
And someone else can find the radius. Because I just did a lot.
Does this have a radius?
All of it.
No, because it's an ellipse. So what
There
do
is
we?
no very. It's a trick question. You were thinking about it. You're like, oh, what is that?
So over here, this. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, JC, yes.
There you go. Just
That's my
put the
girl.
cherry on top of the
Voluntary.
cake.
And answer the right questions. And then proud of you.
What?
Good morning.
Ice cream sundae.
Ice cream Sunday.
That song.
See, if we were going off your car metaphor, I've already turned in. All she has to do is park.
So then you have to flip it.
Well, if it's already a fraction,
Oh, you
it
can
goes
go
on the bottom.
So this.
Uh-huh. Do we just scroll a little? Yeah.
I'll do another one.
You have to go to the square before lunch.
Okay.
Honestly, that makes me really sad.
Tyler has one. Sorry, Tyler, you had a lunch.
Where is he? I'll
Good job,
take
Madam
his lunch.
President.
I don't.
I think
Maybe I'm
Lead
just
lead
sitting
by
wrong.
example.
Okay, so this,
I'm voting for this.
we know where the center is. That's a 1 parenthesis. Or second double block a 0. But it's a 1 parenthesis.
We want a 1 on the right side.
You definitely want the 1 on the right side. So what else? So we know where the center is. We talked about the radius. There's not a radius. But what do these numbers under here tell you? The 16 and the 4.
That it's a perfect square.
Horizontal and vertical shape.
The x's will move right and left. The radius from the x, the distance from the x will be what? Is it 16?
Or is it 4?
Why would it be 4?
yes.
Because it's the square root. The square root of
He knows the
16,
answer.
which is 4.
Yes. Proud of you.
What about the y's move? Up and down.
2.
The square root of 4, which is 2. So we have an idea in our head. We know what this should look like. Yes? We can sketch a graph. Correct?
Correct.
Everybody sketch a graph.
Right
Got
now.
it in your head. Not in your head yet.
The ellipse.
Can we sketch it?
We're going to sketch.
You know what you should do? You should write like a ripoff of the Twilight series, but about calculus.
Oh.
So it would, instead of like eclipse, it would be like ellipse.
Oh.
And instead of, I don't know any of the other names, but that one's funny.
New moon.
New moon, it would be x squared.
Hey, I like it. That
Negative
can
1,
be
0.
on test grade.
Like you guys write a script
Yeah.
based on a calculus
And we
Twilight
film-
series,
we're
and
filming?
you'll
Yeah.
And we're filming. Filming? Talk about calculus.
Okay, so our center is at negative 1, 0. X's are going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. So we'll have points here and here. Your y values are going to go up 2 and down 2.
This time.
Negative 2 to positive 2.
Oh, this looks like a watermelon. Last time is peach.
Should definitely be more flat.
Ooh.
I hate that they're not actual round circles.
It's an ellipse. It's not supposed to be.
It's a moon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I hate that. It's like a shape that's supposed to be a circle.
So you've never seen anything that was an oval?
No, yeah, but I'm saying like whole shapes like that.
I'm sorry.
So you take
Egg shape.
the square root of the denominator to find the shape.
The shift, right and left. Yeah. So when we wrote our things the other day, it was an A squared on the bottom and a B squared on the bottom. So it's moving right and left A over B. We have to fix the square root. So, equation at the very top. Do you remember the standard? No. The general form. That's what they're called. This is standard.
And the general is the green one.
The general, this is standard form.
The general is the x squared.
The general form is this blue one right here. I'm going to take this general form. It doesn't matter which one you take, actually. It doesn't.
If maybe wants to
And-
plug it.
And I want to plug it into my calculator.
It's general will be easier.
Generally is easier.
General.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes. General.
X squared plus
2x
2x
plus 4
4y squared.
equals 15.
Now, if I want to plug this into my calculator, what do I have to have?
Go to math. Second math.
I'm doing
I was
math.
like, are you writing on my table? You're doing math on the lunch form. Your lunch ticket. Let's
walk and learn something. You want-
Taylor and I just made the discovery.
What is it called?
If it relates to stop putting this in our calculator.
It relates to the previous problem.
Okay.
So we're talking about how I have issues with shapes that are not circles.
Okay.
And then she said, so you don't like your face because your face is not a circle? And then she went on to say that it's okay though, because now his face is circle. And then I said, but babies have circular faces, and everyone loves them. So that's the whole reason. It's like babies are the most beautiful version of humans because they have these circular faces.
That's not true. Yes, I love it.
That is bullshit.
Everyone else's faces in their lips.
Sometimes
And then the people you
babies
find
have strange
attractive
faces.
are the people whose faces are mostly round in your
My
eyes.
sister came out.
In your eyes, but your eyes are not round either.
My dad just kind of looked at her for a little bit like, there's something wrong with his face. My sister's face didn't come out circular. She came out kind of smushed. And so my dad just kind of looked at her for a while. I was kind of like, what are we supposed to do about this? There's nothing wrong. Can we return this baby? Is there a difference?
I believe those were my dad's exact words.
I wish they did.
Put her back.
Yeah,
That's
so
so sad.
He wanted a boy.
But this was the problem we just did.
This is the problem we just did. But now I want you to plug in, rearrange it so you can plug it in your calculator.
If you're going to graph, you need to make y to that way. And divide by
So,
4.
to plug something in your calculator, what do you have to have?
A calculator.
You need to find out
X and Y.
Find out in Y.
What button do you have on your calculator?
Y equals.
So
Y equals.
it's
My
divided by
calculator's
4.
in the-
Oh, so you have to
Plus
make
square.
So, we need to isolate Y.
divide by 4.
So we can divide by 4. Can I go ahead and subtract and then divide?
Yes.
So I can have a 4y squared equals.
Listen, man, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, thank you.
Just do it and don't ask.
Just do it and just don't ask.
It's going to end up as a square root.
So when we divide, they don't all turn out nice and pretty.
No.
Because that's ellipse.
Because it's an ellipse.
Except for the last term, I mean, that's just.
It's just a half. So y equals. Can we go ahead and put square root?
Square root of 15 over 4 minus.
Ooh, wait. Maybe I'll break it into 2 pieces. Because if I do the square root of everything,
Positive and negative.
Do
oh,
you want me to take it off? I put a bridge on my
You can put a
calculator.
bridge on my calculator. Every time I get a graph and it's a bridge.
See? You missed that.
Why'd you do it?
I have to remember so I can try to take it off.
obviously he remembered
If I
enough to
was
put
to-
it on there.
Yeah, but not
Not to get it off. Okay, if I take the square root of 15 over 4, can I take the square root of the top and the square root of the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
On all of these, really.
Yeah.
So can I just say the square root of a bunch of stuff divided by 2?
Yeah.
And then Emily said something when I was in the middle of that thought. What do you know about when you take square roots of stuff?
Plus or minus.
It has to be a plus or minus. So we'll have to plug it in twice. Okay? So can I put the square root of 15 minus x squared minus 2x
Can I say the?
all over 4?
Can I say
All over
the?
2.
Why is that over 2?
Because I went ahead and took the square root of the denominator. The square root of 15 over 4 is equal to the square root of 15 over the square root of 4. And we already know the square root of 4.
Can I say the positive that is the up top and the negative is the bottom? The graph.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
if
But
we,
you were going to say the 2.
if we
So-
only plug one, we only can have half.
Here we go. Let's plug this in. We're going to clear. So I need parentheses. Probably to start. That's good. Square root of 15. Are you plugging in? X squared minus 2x. We're going to be done done with that, done with our parentheses, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. I'm going to go ahead and put in the bottom one. The same thing. I'm going to put a negative on the outside of that parentheses.
I figured it out. By the way.
You figured it out? Good.
Do you want me to put it back on here?
No.
Ooh, I see my circle.
2x in parentheses divided by 2.
It looks like a smashed
Oh
watermelon.
no, I messed up. I'm going to go back, I'm going to delete, and I'm going to just go over. I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete this too.
Why are you doing that?
Because my square root went over the 2 also. I forgot to end my square root. The new calculators, the older calculators didn't do this. The newer calculators do this where you have to go out of the square root. And it bothers me. Sorry.
Oh,
Is that,
I thought you were doing one without the over 2. I was just confused.
how was it? Yeah, I just had to put the square root over that and I didn't mean to. So my graph may look a little weird because, oh, maybe not. Yay!
Why mine looks flattened?
Because you're not zoomed in. I don't know. What did you? So you go to 3, you go to -5. That's where it's supposed to be.
But the up top is flattened. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgive you.
It's just early. I mean, I was graphing with
That is a
stuff.
skinny lips on this one. That one's a lot more.
Because mine's more zoomed in.
It is.
Because you should do. Hey, do you know what it should go over to? 3. Go over to 3. So go back. You kind of zoom fit or something going on. So it's just saying that you go back to -6. Yes, you go up to 1. Which technically your 1 is right here, but it's still. Oh no, sorry. 2. Negative. Yeah. So can yours look a little different than mine? You didn't do the negative, did you? Did you put in
Oh
both?
no, I didn't.
Okay, so you only have the top. That's okay.
You didn't think that you did. Look what Justin did.
You do that on yours now?
And I asked him not to.
No.
You can not even plug this in.
I just got it back. Okay.
My apologies, friends.
It's okay, Justin. I moved it because I knew you meant well.
Yeah, let me zoom a little different.
Ooh, I
That
have
looks so much better. Mine was we were doing trig graphs earlier, and it was on zoom trig.
I have blonde hair.
How do you change the zoom again?
You just go to zoom, and you can do zoom square.
Okay.
You can do zoom. I thought there was a zoom fit.
Yeah, 0.
0. Zoom fit. Let me go down one more. Oh,
I don't like
Oh,
that.
I don't like that at all. Can we do a zoom square?
I can't.
I can't see.
Zoom square is a little better.
Well, I just grabbed it, but
Yeah, I'll get it out.
But still, does this make sense from, because we've already done this, we've already sketched a graph,
It makes
correct?
so much sense.
As it goes over to 3,
Graph is just messed up.
goes back to -5.
Yep.
It goes up 2, our center's here, goes up 2, and it goes down 2. Okay?
When we ask us to find the vertex of both sides.
I mean, from what we did in standard form, we found all 4 of the, we technically found 5, we found the center
Yeah.
at -1, 0, and we found the x straight, we moved the y, we moved the x's, we found all those points, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, what do you think we could do that again?
I wanna sleep. Yes. Yes, I know.
Yeah. What if we did another one? There's one more.
Another one.
One more. We still have 10 minutes. Yay!
Oh, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Why? Oh, it does not start with y equals.
Somehow I have a thought. This is the long. This is the
Somehow
long.
I haven't
This is the longest Friday.
Okay. This is the longest short week I've ever been in, just so you know.
True. That's what I want to say.
All right. Can you do it both ways?
Yes. Yes, I can do this, and I can tell you that was.
Weeks here. This week has been pretty quick compared to last week.
What happened?
It was long.
All right. We're starting just like we started the last problem. With, can you tell me, classify it. What is it?
Is it circle?
Do you agree?
Is it
my favorite shape.
Does it
I mean,
only-
a circle.
It's a circle.
This is a baby face.
X squared and a y squared.
Yeah.
Do not put that on your test. It's a baby face.
You'll know what we mean.
It's a
You
baby
expect me to remember every conversation that we
All
have.
we do is make you
You'll
laugh
remember
while you're reading
face.
tests.
Baby's face.
Don't you want joy?
Joy.
I feel like grading math tests is not fun.
And then can you put it in standard form? And then can you plug it in to where you can put it in your calculator? I was gonna say, this one is not gonna be easy. Bless you. Bless you. Going from this trying to solve y equals, unless you put it in standard form first. Okay, just so you know. This one I'm pretty sure you have to, but you, yeah.
Before meaning.
The x, the completing the square, x plus 1
Okay.
squared divided by something, or x plus divided by something. So we said it's a circle. Can you find the center? Can you find the radius? Can you graph?
Just for you. Always for you.
Oh, it's plus 1.
Okay, I just completed this square very quickly. I'm sorry.
I got -1.
Well, when we break it down, it will be -1, but we're squaring it. Because this is still always b over 2 squared.
Okay, let's graph. Graphing.
And this is always just b over 2, if that matters.
What's b in the equation?
Every general form has an a, b, and c. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Like if you were putting it in quadratic formula, it would be the b. Now this one, Justin, do we need it to equal 1?
No. Because it's a circle.
The circles, that number on the other side is going to be our radius squared. Okay?
Okay. I grab a baby face. And I found the standard form.
So, what is our center?
Negative.
Yes, what?
Is it? Oh, I was
Oh, you're okay. Go ahead, Molly. What's our center?
-2, 1.
-2, 1. Radius is 3.
And then find the graphing.
Square
Square root of the 9. Yes.
Let's find the
Now, if we wanted to write it in the terms of where we can put it in our calculator, okay, This is going to be the easiest way to go about that.
You need to rearrange.
But that we need to rearrange. So,
Y parentheses square equals.
are you going from here or are you going from there?
I'll do it now.
Okay.
9
Equals.
minus x plus 2
Mm-mm.
plus 2
No.
plus 2.
Oh. I was like, wait, you can't just take it over there. Okay, sorry. Yes. You just said that over there. It's going to argue, but it was a plus already.
Let's take the square root.
And then we have to take the square root.
Then you know what to do.
Okay. Oh, do we?
I do. You do.
So what are we left with when we take the square root of y minus 1 squared?
It's positive and negative.
Well, it's y minus 1 equals positive or negative.
Are you going to do something in the square root?
Can you do anything in the
You
square
can
root?
do something.
What do you want to do?
Or not. Nah, just leave it like
I mean, the only thing you could do was FOIL.
that.
But
Yeah,
you
I
don't-
was thinking
Is
about
it not just 3 minus x
No.
minus
Why not? Do I need to go into why not?
You're gonna need to go into it.
2? I would say I would honestly have to say that's 3 minus x plus
Me
2.
too.
Okay, do you know that there's a right triangle somewhere that's 3, 4, 5? The Pythagorean theorem says 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared.
Yep.
Because 9 plus 16 is 25, correct?
Correct.
Alright, so I'm going to just write this like this. 5 squared equals. All I'm doing is changing sides. Okay, does everybody say that's okay? I'm going to take the square root of the left,
Oh, you
and I'm going to take the square root of the
No,
right.
that's wrong. You always
So
do
5
that.
equals the square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared, correct? Okay, I'm going to take the square root of each one, 3 plus 4. You tell me that 5 equals 3 plus 4. No. 5 does not equal 7. You cannot
Then why are
Take
you gonna say
the
that it is
square root.
equal to it then?
But
You know what I'm saying?
if there's a plus or minus, this just means that's a symbol of inclusion that you have to do together before you can take a square root.
I was thinking about.
Now, what have we not done? Is y by itself.
No,
We simply need to add 1 to both sides.
I was thinking about factoring, but it may take more work.
So if I want to plug this in my calculator, I personally would put 1, because that's that plus 1, plus or minus the square root of 9 minus x minus 2 plus 2 squared. All that would go under there for that. We know what it has to look like. We know where the center is. We know what the radius is. Okay? If we wanted to graph -2, 1, there's our center. Has a radius of 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's in. Alright, so if we plug it in our calculator. Y equals 1 plus the square root of 9 minus parentheses x plus
This one looks like a baby watermelon. It's a lollipop.
I'm just trying to delete. I don't need that parentheses either. There's the top half. it in the bottom half, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna hit graph.
Whoa. Look at that difference.
Don't look at the bottom. I didn't put it in the bottom part. But does that make sense? We're over 2, up 1, over 3, over 3.
It's a semicircle.
It's a, it's yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a,
That is a baby before baby was born.
yes.
Human body.